back for another week of Polk Nation, and it's been the busiest week on campus I've ever seen. It's been a huge weekend.
Yeah.
You were at different events. You were throwing out first pitches.
It's a lot.
Giving out senior nights.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, you had baseball, softball, both basketballs. I mean, it's
exciting basketball games.
Yes, I mean, you
go. Worried a little bit about you.
Why? Why are you worried?
Well, two things is there's some stress on you, and there's a whole lot of jumping up, and I worry about the hips as you jump up and make calls for officials.
Oh gosh, I've never seen someone exaggerate more than you, but I love it. Well, I've never been one that hides my passion. I'm very passionate. You don't see me a lot at football, but I'm doing the same one where I'm holding, et cetera, et cetera. But hey, listen, I want to win. I put a lot into this department and in a lot of these programs, and I want to win. I get it from an administrator and former coach, but there's the competitive juices are still there.
Well, it's all interesting. I keep waiting for you to get like a technical or something because I'm just you're jumping up and down and you're telling people.
Come on.
Now I will say one thing I was disappointed in.
What's that?
There was no Hawaiian shirt on you last Saturday.
No,
I wore a Hawaiian shirt.
I know. I thought about that after I saw you in it, but then when I saw you in a Hawaiian shirt, I said, I'm probably glad I didn't do that.
Probably a good move. I was a little disappointed that more people weren't in a Hawaiian shirt.
Agreed. I agree.
Let's hear about your Gatsby now. You're only 2 months in the Gatsby.
I know it, and we only have, I think, 15 tables left. They'll be sold out in the next, probably 2 weeks. So if
what do you do differently every year at the Gatsby?
I can't give that away. I can't give that away.
There will be differences.
100%. There'll be some significant differences this year. This is the 5th anniversary.
Yes.
We've done this for 5 years. There's going to be some signature cocktails. There's some different entertainment. It's going to be like, I know I say it all the time, and I mean it. Every year it gets better and better, and this will be the best year. No doubt.
Human sacrifice again?
I'm sorry?
No human sacrifice?
No, I don't do any of that.
I don't get the people on the
there's a lot of things that you don't get.
The people dancing in the rings and the people up on stilts. I couldn't do that.
Well, I mean,
I give them credit. I give them a lot of credit.
I know. Listen, if it's not a deep dish pizza in a ball game, in a beer, what else is there in the world?
I don't think there's anything else in the world. All right, you had a great weekend.
We did.
Softball goes 3-1 against Power. Softball, by the way, if they win tonight, we're taping on Tuesday. They play LSU on Tuesday. We can crown them SEC champs, can't we? If they
I don't know about all that,
but
yeah.
Basketball-wise, women wrapped up the championship on Saturday. They will be the number 1 seed. They will not play until the Wednesday night.
That's right.
Or Wednesday afternoon game of the tournament. So they're already in the semifinals. The men are already in the semifinals. They wrapped up the 2 seed. And all of a sudden, after last night, they still have a chance at the 1 seed.
100%. You just keep playing. I mean, look, the league is very competitive. I was telling someone last night that Rio Grande Valley is a top 100 team.
Yeah.
Right? Like the last 2 years, okay, we were the only top 100 program in the conference.
Yeah.
Okay? This year, there's 3 and a 4th on the cusp.
Yeah.
I mean, so...
UNO might have been had they not just gone crazy when they started the year playing power schools for money.
Yeah, you played 8, 9, guaranteed buy games. I mean, which is, that's a whole
just too
story.
many.
Right. And I think it really hurts our league because New Orleans is a good team, and if they would have played a schedule that,
they would have won
Stephen
some
F. or whatever,
games.
100%. We had the hardest schedule, but we also, had mid-majors in there that we could play that were really good and that are top 100. And but that's a whole other story.
But that is, I agree with you. There's 4 teams that are probably in the top 100 in this league.
Correct.
And that was unthinkable.
Unthinkable.
And I've said this all along, I think Rio Grande Valley is playing in the championship game of this tournament.
It could be. It could be. Listen, I think their coach is really good. I think they have really good pieces. They shoot the ball extremely well. They don't beat themselves. They're good. I mean, they're very good.
I don't think they can win 3 in a row on 3 successive nights, but I think they could easily. We saw that last night. They played, and we saw that when they played SFA. They played with them.
Correct.
That was a really good basketball game.
It's a good game.
McNeese made really big plays down the stretch.
That's right.
Saturday was a good basketball game here. They were different games. Obviously, Javon Garcia not playing is
It's a huge
completely deal. But this is a wide open tournament that's going to be interesting.
And listen, kudos to Coach Armstrong and the staff.
Yeah.
To sit there and say, hey, the reigning player of the year is out.
Yeah.
And you have two teams that are at the top of the league coming in, and you figure out
with
a way.
Lots to play with. They have lots to play for.
100%.
They're playing for the 3 seed and the 4
right.
seed, and that bye is a big deal.
And you figure out ways to win games without your best player and without the reigning player of the year in the conference. I mean, I'm just telling you, Coach Armstrong and that staff is really good.
Not a
really
huge deal as far as the 2 and 1 seed. Or the 3 and 4 seed.
Right.
But a huge difference between the 3 seed and the 2 seed.
Oh,
And a
huge.
huge difference between the 4 seed and the 5 seed.
100%.
That's the biggest difference.
That's exactly
That's
right.
playing 3 games in 3 nights.
That's exactly
That's
right.
tough to do.
That's right.
So that's all going to play out. We'll know this time next week exactly the seeds, who's playing what. McNeese will definitely play either the 6 o'clock game on Wednesday night, men's, or 8:30 game, and then the title game will be the next day at 4 o'clock on TV.
That's right.
The women will be in the afternoon that day. I think they'll play the first game.
Yep.
And then they will come back and play 4 o'clock if they win on Thursday. RGV is a really good women's basketball team.
Very good.
They may be the second best team in that league.
I think they are. And let me just tell you this. Kudos to Rio Grande Valley. I love Chase, their AD there. They're a real player. People here go, oh, well, like, they have over 30,000 students.
Oh, yeah.
They have, they are going to be a real player in this conference, and I think that they have all the things in place for them to move on.
And they have a tremendous, not only fan base, but potential fan base.
Oh, there's no question about it. That's exactly
If you ever
right.
don't believe that, go watch them in baseball.
Correct.
Unbelievable.
That's right.
When we come back, Jake Strong will join us as we'll talk the 5th sport that's going to be going on. March 1st starts football and spring ball. After this on Poke Nation.
What makes having a local lawyer important is it's all about relationships. When judges know the lawyer and the lawyer has established credibility over time with the court, they know enough to trust what you're telling them. Lake Charles must be a wonderful place because now lawyers all over the state claim that Lake Charles is their hometown. I thought you could only have one hometown, and I know this is ours.
Well, it's game day at the Legacy Center, and the McNeese Cowboys are warmed up and ready to play. Cowboys have a new player this year, number 22, Katie Ferdinandson. This girl loves basketball and McNeese so much she can't wait to get out on the floor. And we're off. Shoemate tips the Brewer, and there goes Katie.
Ferdinandson Financial Group supports the McNeese Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to do some really big things. Really big.
McNeese athletes bring big energy, big plays, and big spirit to every game. That's why Lakeside is proud to be such a huge fan. We're a hometown team too, in the business of backing big dreams across our community every day. And we always bank on big wins with McNeese Sports. Go big with Lakeside and McNeese.
Join Don's Wash Club and score big on clean rides all season. Unlock discounts on washes, interior cleanings, oil changes, and more. Whether you're tailgating or heading home after the game, keep your ride looking like a pro. Not ready to commit? No worries. Scan the QR code on screen to see what we're all about. Enjoy your ride with Don's on McNeese, Ryan, and Nelson.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. We have special guest quarterback Jake Strong. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
Welcome to Poke Nation. You were the rose between two thorns, but no, welcome, my man. And so, how was the break? Season ended. Huge game against Lamar that we were able to pull out. You dealt with some injuries late. How are you feeling? Let's talk a little bit about the injuries, and then talk about, obviously spring ball is right around the corner.
Yeah, super excited to start the spring. This year with spring ball, it's a little bit different than what I'm used to. We're starting a lot earlier than normal, so that'll be really exciting to kind of have a little bit of a change up. And then the injury was something, significant enough to where I had to miss the game, but just with time it healed itself. It was a strained oblique that happened early on in the week, and then so just had to let it rest and kind of do its thing. But I'm good now, and I've been throwing all over breaks, so I'm ready to roll now.
So, okay, how much more comfortable do you feel going into year 2 than you did last year this time?
Way more comfortable. Every football guy knows that year 2 in the offense as a whole, just not only with me but with the guys all around me, it's a lot more comfortable. Everybody's kind of seeing it again, and so you kind of start with the basics and get to build back up again. And so it's the process will kind of speed up, and so now we'll have better expectations and higher expectations as far as execution early on.
Awesome.
So last year was not only your first year here, but also Tyler Bolfing's first year as an offensive coordinator and calling plays. Being able to grow with him in a year, you get to put a lot of input into what this looks like now this year, I'd imagine.
Yes, sir.
How much more comfortable is he with you and you with him? Because you guys work one-on-one every day.
Absolutely. Same thing with the offense as a whole. He and our relationship has done nothing but grow since we've gotten here. And it's kind of, I've never gotten to grow with an offensive coordinator before, so this was really a unique experience that I was really excited about, and he shared that same excitement. And so getting to lean on each other as we're kind of going through this process has been a lot of fun. And then us getting creative in the lab has been a lot of fun as well. And so we get to build this thing from the ground up, and I'm just happy to have a hand in it and get to contribute.
The one thing about last year is you guys played a lot better end of the year. I saw a lot of improvement as you get to know each other in that. Can that carry over in a world where so many new guys come in, and how do you carry that over as one of the guys that was here?
It definitely can carry over. I think the important piece is the foundation of our culture and who we are as a team. It kind of stays the same. And so your core group of guys that were here last year are returning. We're returning a big percentage. But we're also bringing in a bunch of new faces. And so having that core group of guys to kind of show the new faces, okay, hey, this is how we do things, and total alignment from the coaching staff to the support staff to the actual players in the locker room. All of us preaching the same things day in and day out. That's kind of how you kind of keep things progressing as you move forward and building on what you already started a year ago.
So I was going to go back to when you say like you're in the lab with Coach. So talk a little bit about that. So in your relationship, obviously as the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, that bond is really important. That relationship's important. But talk about, like you said, hey, going into the lab and growing it. Like, what does that look like?
I kind of think of it as art. So, like, Coach Bolfing is kind of the visionary. He's got this idea, and then I kind of take his vision and kind of execute it out in the field. And so everybody talks about the quarterback being the coach on the field, and it's 100% truth. So he's not necessarily out there throwing the ball, catching the ball, but he's communicating this broad idea of, hey, this is what we want to do, this is the game plan, and then when I'm out there on the field, I'm actually the one taking the paintbrush and putting the strokes onto the canvas. And so you can kind of think of it in that aspect.
Well, so what do you think from an offensive standpoint will be tweaked or different this year? And you probably can't answer all that because we're going into spring ball and you're going to learn a lot. But, off the top of your head, what are the couple things that you think that will be better offensively because of you guys being in the lab and because of the relationship, et cetera? What can Polk Nation kind of expect moving forward offensively?
I think immediately, the glaring piece is the passing game. I think there's going to be a ton of improvement from this fall to the spring and then moving on to the season. That's kind of been a big emphasis, not only from me but from them. And then, we're already, weeks ago, we started throwing as soon as we got back in town, we're throwing with the receivers and kind of just getting an earlier jump than we did last year, and being a little more intentional about how we do things, because you can't do the same things you did a year ago and expect a different result. And so we got to do something different. We got to switch it up and kind of attack it with a different type of mindset.
Now, you have a bunch of new receivers with you, though. They brought in some receivers. They brought in some skilled position people. How long does it usually take for that? And how important is this spring to kind of get to know them, not only throwing with them, but kind of in game situations?
So I think the bond we build, not only on the field, but off the field is very important. I was thankful enough to have a hand and talk to these guys during recruitment and stuff. And so not only that piece, but they get to know me, they get to know the other quarterbacks, they get to know just kind of the culture and the chemistry and the brotherhood that we have. And so that translates to them having trust in what we're doing. And so whenever we're out there a few weeks ago starting off, they're already attacking it with a certain mindset. And so that carries on into the spring. And so it becomes kind of automatic the more reps we get with each other. And so, everything's going great with that. And these guys have really, they haven't just dipped the toe. They dove into the pool and they're full boogie tilt on maximizing everything they can for this program.
When we come back with Jake, we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about this group. It starts March 1st. So just in a week and a half. Yeah, so right away. After this on Polk Nation.
What makes having a local lawyer important is it's all about relationships. When judges know the lawyer and the lawyer has established credibility over time with the court, they know enough to trust what you're telling them. Lake Charles must be a wonderful place because now lawyers all over the state claim that Lake Charles is their hometown. I thought you could only have one hometown, and I know this is ours.
Well, it's game day at the Legacy Center, and the McNeese Cowboys are warmed up and ready to play. Cowboys have a new player this year, number 22, Katie Ferdinandson. This girl loves basketball and McNeese so much she can't wait to get out on the floor. And we're off. Shoemate tips the Brewer, and there goes Katie.
Ferdinandson Financial Group supports the McNeese Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to do some really big things. Really big.
McNeese athletes bring big energy, big plays, and big spirit to every game. That's why Lakeside is proud to be such a huge fan. We're a hometown team too, in the business of backing big dreams across our community every day. And we always bank on big wins with McNeese Sports. Go big with Lakeside and McNeese.
Join Don's Wash Club and score big on clean rides all season. Unlock discounts on washes, interior cleanings, oil changes, and more. Whether you're tailgating or heading home after the game, keep your ride looking like a pro. Not ready to commit? No worries. Scan the QR code on screen to see what we're all about. Enjoy your ride with Don's on McNeese, Bryan, and Nelson.
We're back with Jake Strong, McNeese quarterback, who starts his second year with McNeese on March 1st at spring ball. I guess the number one question a lot of people want to know is, you didn't play much the year before last. How much was catching up to do and just getting back into game routines, and how much of a step can you make forward because of that?
As a competitor, you kind of don't really think about those things. It's kind of one of those things that's like, oh, no, it doesn't really affect anything. But I think as I get older, and this is my fourth year into college, the wisdom is starting to set in, and it's like, okay, those things are kind of more of a factor than you think. And so obviously as the year progressed, my comfortability and kind of the swagger you play with on the field, that kind of develops naturally, and the confidence you have. And so it goes from excited to just be on the field to now, okay, let's dial it back in. Let's, get back to the calm, cool, collected player that I've always been. And, okay, let's start executing. Let's start winning games and all those things. And so going into year two is kind of, I just get to build on that. And, being a returner versus trying to win the job is a completely different mindset almost. And so it's, you obviously, as a competitor, you still go earn your spot every day, but coming back as a returner, it's in a more simple way, it's like a big weight off your shoulders, because now you get to go and execute and work on the execution piece of it, and you get to help other guys and really get to dive into the offense and master the offense and all those things. And so it's I'm very, very excited to kind of get the pads back on and go build on what we already built on.
So let's go back to when you first got here, right? And I love, Jim always makes fun of me when I say this, but you've been here now a year, okay? So talk about your experience here in Lake Charles. He's going to laugh at me, but what is your favorite restaurant? Talk about, what are the surprises when you got here about this community, et cetera?
So I come from a small town, so this, the Lake Charles is very small town feel. Everybody knows everyone, everybody's willing to help. I laugh because a year ago we had the NIL Summit that Kiefer put on, and I got here from moving all my stuff from Lubbock. I got here at like 2 a.m. the day of, I guess, of that NIL Summit. And so I had like 3 hours of sleep, and I got here, and I didn't really know anybody, and everybody welcomed me with open arms. Everybody was very social, friendly, and then, just constant experiences like that within the community that, I had truck issues. I was broke down in a parking lot somewhere, and some random guy came and helped me fix my truck. And so it's just like little things like that have just happened over and over and over again. And so it just kind of shows the genuine support from this community and the people that live here, which was really awesome. I love it, every bit of it. And then my favorite restaurant, I don't go there very often just because I don't want to wear it out, but either Steamboat Bill's, because I love Cajun food. So when I got here, it was my first time having Cajun food, and so that was pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'd probably say that's my favorite restaurant to go to.
I love it.
You get a deal with Cajun with some place like that?
No,
He's always looking for
I know.
deals. He's looking for his own NIL. And that's why we're always talking food with him. Okay, so when it comes to the Southland, what did you learn last year about the Southland Conference? Were you surprised by it in any way? And is it how difficult was it to kind of go from playing in the big stadiums to smaller stadiums that's more intimate?
I loved it. I think the more, like you said, the more intimate it is makes it a little more fun because now the fans are more engaged, and I don't know, there's a little more substance to it. As far as going from the Big 12 to the Southland Conference, the thing I found the most interesting is the style of defense. The Big 12 is every conference, I guess, has something to hang their hat on and what their stereotype is. And so that was very different from the Big 12 to here, which I found very interesting. I found unique. It was a different thing a different defense.
What was different?
So in the Big 12, it was a lot of, had a lot of 4-down. With the Iowa State and the K-State defenses, you saw a lot of the 3-high structure stuff. But in the Southland, it's a lot of odd front teams with that creature on the edge that is a great pass rusher, and so I saw a little more of that stuff than I had in the past with my few years at the old school, and so I thought that was the most interesting piece of it.
What about the fact that you don't get a CVS like you'll see at a Houston Christian on campus? You don't get that in the end zone.
Yeah, I saw the little gas station thing about how close the gas station was to each stadium. Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. So going into this year, you kind of got a feel for it, and that. What was the biggest takeaway from your game? It seemed like there was times when you really could run the football. You ran more than I thought you were going to run last year. How comfortable were you with that, and how did that kind of evolve?
I'm super comfortable with it. I always talk about I'll do whatever we need to do to win, and so that's what that was needed from me to win football games, and so I was very comfortable with it. And so, I wasn't really shocked. I always knew I could run, and that was always something I was confident in my ability of doing because the way I've just always played the game.
Some long runs though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people don't normally think I'm fast, but I got a little bit of wheels on me.
So how do you want to see, or I guess really, what do you want to see come out of this spring? How much development, but how developed you want to be going into the summer? Because now you're going to have a longer summer break.
I think the biggest thing is I want to build our identity as an offense. I want to find what that is early on and then really, really refine it and become the best we can at that. Because, as the season goes on, you kind of stick to your identity and who you are and how you do what you're doing. It plays a big part in your success. If somebody knows what you're about to do and you can still beat them down in, down out, then that says a lot about your consistency, your execution, your body of work, and the process that you put in. And so I'd love to figure out what our identity is early, and then really, really hammer and build on that as spring ball goes, as summer goes, fall camp into the season.
And you don't have to see Proctor this year.
Yeah. Well, when we played him, he got hurt early
Yeah.
on, which I hope he's doing okay. I haven't heard much from him, but so we didn't really get to see a whole lot of him whenever we played. So.
But there was more defensive talent in the league than people thought. I think that surprised people.
SFA had a great front seven.
Yeah.
Southeastern had a great front. Those are just the two off the top of my head that I remember. But no, there was a lot of great Nichols linebacking core. They were very, very disciplined. And so there was a lot of defensive play that was very high quality.
Jake Strong's been our guest. March 1st is the date when
Here we go.
practice opens up. We'll have 5 sports on campus at that time.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know.
We're ready to go.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank
when
you,
we get
guys.
back with Coach's final thoughts.
What makes having a local lawyer important is it's all about relationships. When judges know the lawyer and the lawyer has established credibility over time with the court, they know enough to trust what you're telling them. Lake Charles must be a wonderful place because now lawyers all over the state claim that Lake Charles is their hometown. I thought you could only have one hometown, and I know this is ours.
The Cowboys are going to do some really big things. Really big.
McNeese athletes bring big energy, big plays, and big spirit to every game. That's why Lakeside is proud to be such a huge fan. We're a hometown team too, in the business of backing big dreams across our community every day. And we always bank on big wins with McNeese Sports. Go big with Lakeside and McNeese.
Yeah, let's get back to basketball for a second. Third year in a row where you have not lost a regular season game in the conference in this building. You're 46-1 in this building. The only loss to Santa Clara, a top 75 team. Your women have only lost one game this year here, but yet the fans don't seem to be as you've had more in the past.
I don't understand. I mean, it's I don't understand. All we're going to do is continue to put a really good product on the floor. And hopefully the community will continue to go, wow, this is something that we got that is really, really
You
special.
got a lot of people that come back to back games, but not a lot of newcomers.
Yeah.
And not a lot of what really, and I made this point, Marcus and I were talking earlier. One thing is the fact that kids don't come to campus because of they do online schooling.
A lot of them, yeah.
I think that they never see the campus, and that hurts you because there's no interaction, because that seems to me there should be more kids here.
Yeah, I think there should be more. I mean, but our marketing team has done as good of a job as you can have, and
you've had some sellouts.
Yeah, 100%. But as a competitor, you always want more, and I think it's really, really important for our community to come out for the tournament.
Yeah.
There's a reason we host the tournament, right? And that's to get, to have an advantage. They have the last 2 years, and I'm hopeful that, especially with the men and the women, that they'll come out in droves.
Monday night, you saw how important fans are because they took over. They got loud. They took over and pushed them through down the stretch. They make a huge difference in both those games this weekend. Fans made a big difference.
Big.
So
Huge.
we'll see if you can get them out here for the tournament. That starts March 8th.
March 8th.
But you guys won't be playing for a couple of days.
Which is nice.
Which is nice. Well, we'll see you next week when we'll know of all the seeds after this. We'll see you next week on Poke Nation.